Wellness influencer Gabriela Moura, just 31 years old, has tragically died following complications from an IVF procedure, and the shocking news has left her followers, the wellness community, and thousands of supporters around the world in absolute disbelief. What was meant to be one of the most hopeful chapters of her life, a deeply personal journey toward motherhood, has instead become a heartbreaking story that is sparking emotional conversations about fertility treatments, medical risk, and the unseen struggles behind even the most radiant social media presence. Gabriela Moura built her name in the digital wellness space as a voice of calm, intelligence, and emotional depth. She wasn't simply posting workout routines or green juice recipes. Her platform was rooted in substance. Her content centered around mindfulness, neuroscience-based self-development, emotional resilience, stress regulation, and intentional living. She had a rare ability to blend science and soul, explaining how the brain processes fear, how cortisol impacts the body, how trauma imprints on the nervous system, and how breathing techniques can physiologically shift someone from panic into calm, all in language that felt warm, accessible, and deeply human. Her audience didn't just scroll past her posts. They paused, they saved them, they applied them, they trusted her. She frequently broke down complex psychological concepts into digestible insights. When she spoke about the nervous system, she explained it like this: your body has built-in alarm systems. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight mode, the state that raises your heart rate, tightens your muscles, sharpens your senses when danger appears. The parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite. It's the rest and digest state, the calm mode that allows your body to repair, sleep, and feel safe. Gabriela taught people how to move intentionally between these states through breathwork, grounding exercises, and awareness. For many followers, this knowledge was life-changing. She often spoke about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new neural connections throughout life. In simple terms, she would say, your brain is not fixed. Your patterns are not permanent. If you've spent years in anxiety, hypervigilance, or self-doubt, you are not broken. You can retrain your mind. You can reshape your responses. You can literally rewire your brain through repetition and conscious effort. Her message was empowering and hopeful. You are not stuck. You are adaptable. Growth is possible. But behind the serene imagery and soft-spoken wisdom was a woman navigating her own emotional terrain. Gabriela and her husband had long dreamed of becoming parents. She spoke tenderly about wanting to create a home grounded in emotional intelligence and safety. She envisioned raising a child who felt heard, who understood their own feelings, who grew up knowing that vulnerability was strength. Motherhood was not a casual idea for her. It was woven into her vision of a meaningful life. After months of trying to conceive naturally, Gabriela and her husband decided to pursue in vitro fertilization, commonly known as IVF. IVF is a fertility treatment where eggs are retrieved from the ovaries, fertilized with sperm in a lab, and then transferred into the uterus to achieve pregnancy. It is one of the most advanced and widely used reproductive technologies in the world. For countless families, IVF has been the miracle that made parenthood possible. However, the process is not simple. It begins with hormone injections to stimulate the ovaries into producing multiple eggs. Those hormones can significantly affect the body, causing bloating, mood swings, fatigue, and in some cases, more serious complications. Monitoring is frequent. Blood tests and ultrasounds become routine. Emotions swing between hope and fear. It is a physically invasive and emotionally intense journey. After the stimulation phase comes egg retrieval, typically performed under sedation or anesthesia. It is generally considered a routine medical procedure in fertility clinics, but like all medical interventions involving anesthesia and hormonal shifts, it carries inherent risks. According to statements shared by her family, Gabriela suffered a sudden cardiorespiratory arrest during the procedure. Cardiorespiratory arrest means the heart stops beating effectively and breathing ceases, depriving the brain and organs of oxygen. It is a critical emergency requiring immediate resuscitation. Medical teams acted quickly. She was transported to a hospital and placed in intensive care. For days, Gabriela remained in a coma. Machines monitored her heart. Doctors worked tirelessly. Family members gathered around her bedside. Friends clung to hope. Her social media pages became virtual prayer walls, flooded with messages of support, faith, and disbelief. The same woman who had guided so many through panic attacks and sleepless nights was now fighting for her own life. And then came the update that shattered hearts worldwide. After several days in critical condition, Gabriela Moura passed away at just 31 years old. The timing added an almost unbearable layer of sorrow. She and her husband had recently celebrated another wedding anniversary, marking years of partnership, shared dreams, and resilience. Those close to them described their marriage as deeply supportive. They were partners in every sense, encouraging each other's ambitions and united in their desire to build a family. In a statement shared through relatives, her family expressed gratitude for the overwhelming outpouring of love. They described Gabriela as a light, someone who walked into any room with presence and intention. They shared that in alignment with her values of generosity and service, her organs were donated, giving others a chance at life even as hers ended. Even in tragedy, her story carried an element of selflessness. The online reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Fellow influencers posted tearful tributes. Wellness coaches shared long captions about how Gabriela had elevated the conversation around mental health. Followers revisited her old posts, leaving comments as though speaking directly to her. One wrote that Gabriela's teachings helped her survive postpartum depression. Another said her breathing exercises stopped years of debilitating panic attacks. Many referred to her as a digital therapist, someone who offered structured, compassionate guidance without ever meeting her audience face to face. One of her final posts has taken on haunting significance. In it, she spoke about surrender, about accepting that not everything is within our control. She encouraged her audience to release the illusion that planning guarantees outcomes. At the time, it felt like a reflection on everyday stress. Now, it feels almost prophetic. Friends described Gabriela as meticulous and passionate. She woke before sunrise to meditate. She journaled daily. She studied research papers to ensure her content was evidence-based. She believed wellness should not be reduced to aesthetics. It was not about how your body looked, but about how your nervous system functioned, how your mind processed reality. She frequently explained cortisol, the stress hormone released during perceived danger. Elevated cortisol over time can lead to anxiety, inflammation, and sleep disruption. Gabriela's mission was to help people regulate stress naturally through breathwork, movement, rest, and emotional awareness. The tragic irony is that even someone deeply attuned to health cannot control every biological outcome. Her passing has sparked renewed discussion about IVF and medical risk. Experts emphasize that IVF is generally safe and that severe complications are rare. Millions of healthy babies have been born thanks to assisted reproductive technology, yet no medical procedure is without risk. Hormonal stimulation can in rare cases trigger ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. Anesthesia can carry unpredictable reactions. Blood clotting disorders, allergic responses, and cardiovascular events, though uncommon, are medically recognized possibilities. For women navigating IVF, the journey is often layered with physical strain and emotional vulnerability. There are injections, financial costs, invasive monitoring, and the constant oscillation between hope and heartbreak. Gabriela had alluded to resilience and patience in subtle posts, suggesting her journey had not been effortless. Her story has encouraged some women to speak more openly about fertility challenges. It has also prompted medical professionals to remind the public that while tragic, cases like hers are extremely rare and should not overshadow the many safe and successful IVF journeys. Still, the emotional impact remains profound. Gabriela symbolized health-conscious living. She embodied awareness. She practiced the techniques she taught. Yet her story reminds us that wellness is not immunity. Knowledge does not equal invincibility. Life contains variables beyond even the most disciplined control. The wellness community is grieving loudly and publicly. Influencers are admitting the pressure to appear calm even during chaos. Gabriela often spoke about breaking the illusion of perfection. She encouraged honesty about burnout and emotional fatigue. Now, in her absence, her peers are leaning into that vulnerability more than ever. Vigils have been held, memories have been shared, voice notes she once sent to friends are being replayed. Family members describe her as someone who lived expansively, someone who valued depth over duration. Her dream of motherhood adds an especially painful layer. She once said she wanted to raise a child who felt safe, expressing every emotion. Those words are now circulating across platforms, accompanied by grief and disbelief. As her content continues to circulate, followers are revisiting her teachings about the parasympathetic nervous system, the system that helps the body relax and recover. She taught that slow, intentional breathing stimulates the vagus nerve, signaling safety to the brain. That message is now being used by her community to process their grief. Her story forces reflection on the fragility of life. Social media can present glowing mornings and serene captions, but behind every curated image is a human navigating uncertainty. In the days since her passing, her husband has remained mostly private, surrounded by family. Those close to him say he wants Gabriela remembered for her impact, not only for the tragedy. And that impact is undeniable. She changed how people spoke to themselves. She taught followers to identify cognitive distortions, irrational patterns of thinking like catastrophizing or black and white thinking. She believed awareness of these patterns could reduce anxiety and build resilience. Now, her words feel even more powerful. She often said, "Uncertainty is part of being human. The only control we truly have is our response." Gabriela Moura's life was only 31 years long, but it was filled with purpose. Her passing reminds us that wellness is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about compassion. It is about living intentionally, even when outcomes are unknown. Her voice continues to echo through saved videos and shared posts. In one clip, she said, "Even when life surprises you, meet it gently." Those words now carry extraordinary weight. Her legacy lives in the countless people who breathe more slowly because of her, who journal instead of spiral, who choose empathy instead of criticism. The grief is heavy, the heartbreak is real, the questions linger, but so does the gratitude. Gabriela Moura leaves behind a husband, family, friends, and a global community changed by her presence. Her story reminds us to cherish the people we love, to approach medical decisions with informed care, and to live consciously. Life is fragile, dreams are precious, and even in devastating loss, there can be a ripple of light that continues long after someone is gone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.